Right now at 6, strong winds and fires leave a Yates Center Health Care Center destroyed.
And we have that same fire danger again today with red flag warnings going into place. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door. Coming up.
Plus, 2 Joplin nonprofits merged together in an effort to bring more support to the area.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It's Monday. It's St. Patrick's Day. And I swear, anybody who comes up and pinches me is done. I can't wear green, okay? I cannot. Now, I asked if we could paint that wall blue once, but
really?
I did. Because the chroma key colors, you can use red, blue, or green.
Oh.
But then blue would negate 90% of our attire, where we could just
red
eliminate green from
bad,
our,
but I guess green is the best.
Green is probably the best.
Not for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, it's perfect for that. Well, let's take a look outside, shall we? In downtown Pittsburgh. I don't see any. Oh, there's green. There's bushes down by U.S. Bank, and I'm sure that those are green. See, they're ready to go. Skies are clear overhead. We have a chilly start to the day. See, there's some green right there as well. MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line, looking back to the north, and it's again chilly this morning, but it will warm up well above average as we head into the afternoon, and that's part of that is because of the winds bringing in warmer air. That's why we have red flag warnings across the entire area through at least 10 o'clock tonight. So as we were just telling you about the whole Yates Center situation, that's local in terms of that. We had that large fire near Carthage over the weekend as well. And then down across Oklahoma, I mean, folks in Norman lost their homes because of wildfires that got out of control. So please, no outdoor burning. It's not just yourself you're watching out for, it's your neighbors as well, because they can spread very quickly. Temperatures will warm up very quickly as well. Sunny skies and those southwest winds gusting upwards of 40 to 45 miles an hour. So very breezy conditions to say the least out there. Taking a look outside, 46 in Joplin, 41 right now in Pittsburgh. We even have some locations in the low 30s. We are going to eventually make it very warm again. Upper 30s, low 40s for most of us. But again, it's a bit of a chilly start ahead of a very warm day. We should be about 60 for our average high. We're going mid, maybe even upper 70s. Sunny skies, and again, those winds gusting 40, 45 miles an hour. It'll be even windier tomorrow into Wednesday. And then we've got some rain chances that might help us out a little bit. Details in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, dry conditions in the 4 states have led to multiple fires in different areas over the weekend. Burn bans have been in effect, but fires have still popped up and spread. Now, one fire in Yates Center burned down a health and rehabilitation center. KOAM's Mitch Adams brings us more details.
What started as a grass fire outside of Yates Center, Kansas, turned into a much more serious situation. The fire traveled to the Yates Center Health and Rehabilitation Center, where flames quickly consumed the structure.
By the time we got to South Owl Lake, the fire was already out of control. We tried to stop it before it got past a paved road. There's a house back there behind the nursing home, and luckily it was saved. But before we could get anything deployed, we had hoses out and was pumping water as much as we could. The fire jumped the road and got into the cedars, and it went through the cedars so fast that by the time we got to the nursing home, we tried to do everything we could to save it. There was too much. The wind was too much. Although the fire destroyed the building, all of the residents were evacuated safely and are in the process of relocating to sister facilities. The Mission Health Community Regional Vice President, Nikki Jacobs, says the community came together to support the residents in a tough situation.
They really were troopers. We got them all out fast, and then we relocated to a temporary shelter at the high school. And the Yates Center community was amazing. They surrounded us. The high school kids came down and sat with the residents and talked with them and kept them entertained until we got them to their relocating facilities.
Apart from the residents, staff will also be dealing with the aftermath of this tragic situation.
We're also providing emotional support for residents and staff.
Jacobs says that they will be accepting donations for residents that have been displaced.
And any comfort items that, they might help them feel a little bit more at home. Just supporting our displaced staff who are also affected. and check with our local care communities for specific needs that where our residents went. But really just keeping our resident staff and first responders in their thoughts and prayers would be appreciated.
Yates Center's Fire Chief, Brandon Gaulding, also thanks the community for their assistance during this time.
It's wonderful how the community came together. All agencies was helping evacuate people. They got everybody out safely.
Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
Well, the Yates Center fire chief said that all burning should be called off and that with high winds, embers can spread very quickly. Now, if you see a fire burning in the open, you can contact emergency responders as soon as possible. Well, fast-moving winds and dry conditions in our area had fire crews in Carthage working to contain a large grass fire Saturday night. Firefighters say the glow from the fire could be seen from 5 miles away, and winds were reported 15 to 30 miles per hour with gusts up to 43 miles per hour. Flames were said to be 10 to 12 feet high. No structures were threatened and no firefighters were injured. Firefighters remained on scene until around 10:30 p.m. And many communities in our area felt the impact of storms and high winds Friday. Oklahoma Highway Patrol suspended transportation of oversized loads after high winds knocked semi-trucks over. Residents in both Miami and Joplin experienced power outages, and Liberty Utilities said that at least 1,000 customers lost power around noon, including residents in West Mineral and Galena. Most of those customers regained power shortly after. And with severe weather season already showing its face in our area, a few Joplin residents took the time to prepare for when those emergencies may happen. The Emergency Preparedness Fair provided individuals and families with the knowledge and resources needed to be ready for emergencies. Presentations were given on how to preserve food, garden, and plan financially.
Unfortunately, when you dial 911 because you have an emergency, all of the things have already happened, and the only thing we can help with is trying not to make it worse. And we work really, really hard to prevent fires and to help prevent some of the medical emergencies that are out there by educating people. So prevention is a big part of that.
The Red Cross and Joplin Fire Department were at the event as well. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, two Joplin nonprofits are merging, hoping to create a future together. Now, both One Joplin and Active Lifestyle Events are organizations hoping to support the health and safety of the community. KOAM's Samantha Walker has more on how they're celebrating taking on that under one name.
One Joplin and Active Lifestyles events met here at Joplin Avenue Coffee House for both a figurative and literal passing of the baton between the two organizations.
Merging with One Joplin as one part of their mission fits very well with our mission of health and fitness in our community.
Active Lifestyle Events, known as ALE, is best known for supporting the Joplin Memorial Run, which ended last year. The organization planned on ending as well, until leaders with One Joplin reached out about ALE merging with them to help support their health initiatives.
When we come together, the greatest thing that we have is each other. A community that truly fulfills a mission to meet the needs of its citizens in diverse and meaningful ways through its various talents, skills, organizations, not-for-profits, resources. One Joplin and ALE are showing our community what that looks like in a really practical way today.
We knew that the passion that we brought to the table in our organization the legacy would be carried on in One Joplin.
That belief that health and fitness will be emphasized in the Joplin community for years to come is what made Dennis so excited for ALE to merge under the One Joplin name.
Now with all of the new trail projects, the biking projects, it's super excited to see this community really embracing health and fitness. It feels really good to see our legacy be carried on, and for it to become health and fitness to become an even bigger part of this community going forward.
The president of ALE plans to join the One Joplin team this year, further tying the two organizations together. Reporting in Joplin, I'm Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Organizers say health is just one area of focus for One Joplin, but it ties into other teams such as poverty and education and literacy. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. A judge is set to determine if the government is capable of deporting immigrants without a trial. We'll have the latest. And Chris returns with another look at your Monday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, topping Nation Watch this morning, the deadline for Americans to file their taxes is now less than a month away. The IRS may face some challenges this year. The agency, like many other government departments, has faced upheaval since the Trump administration took over. Now, over the past 7 weeks, key top executives have left the IRS, and about 6,700 probationary employees lost their jobs last month. Now, despite the upheaval, tax professionals say are not seeing any problems with people filing their taxes or getting refunds. Now, the latest government entities targeted for cuts include those that support museums and homeless people. President Donald Trump signed an executive order Friday demanding 7 government entities reduce staffing. Now, among them are the Institute of Museum and Library Services, Interagency Council on Homelessness, and the Federal Mediation and excuse me. The Agency for Global Media is also included, which runs Voice of America and other government-funded media operations. Now, can the Trump administration deport people without hearings, and will it obey judicial decisions? Now, deportations of alleged gang members to El Salvador over the weekend could set up legal battles involving those questions. Amy Kiley reports on their significance.
He feels like he has a mandate to do all of these things.
It's up to a judge to determine if the Trump administration violated a temporary restraining order over the weekend, and if so, how to respond. He's U.S. District Judge James Boasberg. His order Saturday evening demands the administration stop using the Alien Enemies Act to deport people without hearings. But the Trump administration says it did use that wartime law to deport hundreds of alleged gang members over the weekend. In a statement, the press secretary says they were outside U.S. territory by the time of the written order. She doesn't mention the judge's earlier verbal order that any flights involved turn around.
They are looking to push the bounds, and they have no problem doing this.
A legal analyst says verbal orders are binding. He says the issue comes down to the location of any planes involved when the judge gave his mandate. He says if they were in U.S. territory and left, that's a violation. If they had landed, that's not. And if they were mid-flight,
now we're going to get into a gray area.
Analysts say what happened pushes legal boundaries in 2 ways. 1, it sets up a potential legal battle over deporting people without hearings.
Bad pun, but it trumps every other legislation that we have.
And 2,
it does raise questions about whether President Trump and his team are going to follow judges' orders.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're taking a look at Skywatch Storm Tracker. It is clear. We have just a few clouds off to our south and west, and that's where they will stay. We also have red flag warnings in place across the area. We'll go over the details in your full forecast here in just a few more minutes.
Welcome back. Lori Horton is with us this St. Patrick's Day with a delicious traditional Irish apple cake. Good morning, Lori.
Good morning.
Fantastic.
Oh my gosh. You know, I really labored on what recipe to do today, being here on St. Patty's Day.
Yes.
I decided to forego the green for no reason, mint for no reason, Lucky Charms recipes, and really did a deep dive into what do we have as a traditional dessert in Ireland?
Oh, how fun.
Right?
That's great.
So this is something you really would see served at a family meal or anything like that in Ireland. It's a really great one and not as complicated as it sounds. So what we want to start with though is preparing the pan, and this is really important. This recipe for our batter, for our layering, is going to be perfect in a 9-inch round. So find that one in the back of the cabinet. But we want to layer it with parchment paper, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a tip on this. This is just a folded parchment like I'd use for cookie sheets.
Oh, sure.
Here's my folded corner. I'm going to lay it on the bottom of my pan, about in the center, cut off that excess, and then just bring it in a little bit more because we're measuring to the inside of the pan. And then just like when we used to make snowflakes in elementary school,
there you go.
we have a fairly round piece there to put in the inside of our pan.
Wonderful.
So we're going to have a little bit of excess butter from one stick, and I'm just going to take a piece of that, and I'm going to butter the edges of my pan first. And of course, since it is St. Patrick's Day and this is a very Irish recipe, I did the splurge and I went with the really good butter. So for those of you who bake, you know, if you know, you know, that is so worth it for the really good recipes. But holy cow, it's a splurge. These days it's really bad when you have to splurge to put eggs and butter in your baking, right?
Oh.
So I've got this really nicely coated with a good layer of butter. Then I'm going to go ahead and lay that parchment in the bottom, and then kind of just with what's left on my glove here.
Get that parchment too.
Yeah, I'm going to put a little bit on top of the parchment as well, because we want it to peel off nice and clean as well after that cake is baked. So once that's really well prepared, we're going to set that aside. And believe it or not, it's going to take just a few extra minutes. I'm going to kind of prepare the batter between our segments today. So it's nothing out of the ordinary as far as how we do it. We're going to cream our wet ingredients like usual with any batter, mix our dry ones, and then kind of bring them together. What's great about this is our batter is really thick, and it's kind of a spice cake, right? Goes well with those apples. And then we're going to peel and cut some Granny Smith. So more like what you would use in an apple pie. It's almost a cross between an apple tart and an apple cake, but
that sounds great.
So good. And again, easier than you would expect. The big thing is make sure you allow some baking time, because this is going to bake for like an hour.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it's
going to be a very long time.
It's going to be a little bit
pretty dense, that batter.
Exactly. So I'm going to get that mixed up. Like I said, between our segments, I'll come back so that you guys can see just how thick it is and ready to go, and kind of our layering process before we pop that in the oven.
All right, wonderful. Sounds like a plan, Lori. Thanks. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:24 now on this Monday, St. Patrick's Day in the 4 states. And we unfortunately, once again, have to deal with the very gusty winds and the high fire danger. We have red flag warnings across the entire area through at least 10 o'clock tonight. So again, no outdoor burning. It's going to be too dry and too windy. We've already had issues with wildfires spreading in our own area, let alone those that took place across central Oklahoma last Friday. There were evacuation warnings issued for parts of Norman and fire warnings out there as well. So we do not want that to be the case here today. So please be very cautious. No outdoor burning, no discarding anything flammable out your car window, anything like that, because you're not just taking care of yourself, you're taking care of your neighbors as well. So those winds, they're going to be very gusty out of the southwest, pushing 40, maybe 45 miles an hour. Our temperatures well above average today with plentiful sunshine out there. Our average is about 60. There's not a single 60 on this board as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. We have a very mild evening as well, so a very warm start to the day tomorrow. In fact, remember our average high, 60? Yeah, we could be starting at that, maybe even a little above that in some cases as we head into tomorrow morning. Well, a few clouds overnight. Winds will be out of the south, still gusting out there. And as we go through our Tuesday, even windier tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies. Could see some pop-up storms in the late afternoon, evening hours. Not anticipating anything significant, but it is something we want to watch very closely as we head through tomorrow afternoon, because then we go into Wednesday, still very windy across the region. In fact, as windy as Tuesday. But we also have better shower chances as we head into Wednesday afternoon and evening. And yeah, the future track's picking up on the possibility of some light snow. Now, ground temperatures aren't really matching the precipitation type that we're seeing on the future track late Wednesday and the very early Thursday morning. But a few flurries may be possible, but again, won't be anything significant out there. Here's where we're going to start our day, mid-40s. Clear skies, low 60s by 11, so we're going to warm up very quickly. And again, part of that is thanks to those southwest winds gusting 40, 45 miles an hour. So again, sunny, warm, breezy, mid-upper 70s. This evening, a very mild evening out there, back to about the mid-60s by 10. And as I mentioned, our overnight lows close to what our average high should be for this time of year. Mostly clear skies, south winds still gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour. As we head down the road, Breezy again tomorrow and Wednesday. It's looking to be breezy through at least Friday, believe it or not. But by tomorrow and into Wednesday at least, those wind gusts could reach 50 miles an hour and in some cases maybe a little bit greater than that. So again, you've got to be extra cautious out there. And of course, too, with driving high-profile vehicles, where a number of those blown off the roadways across just the region with those gusty winds last week. A few showers again Wednesday, maybe an isolated shower or storm Tuesday. Again, we'll watch that. We'll be back to normal, still feel cooler Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. A few showers possible Friday as well. A little warmer Saturday, back to normal Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, maybe a few showers on Sunday, and then by next Wednesday, all the way back up to about 70 degrees. That's a check of your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, people experiencing poverty may age quicker. A study by University College London showed social inequality has a direct impact on the biological aging process. Now, people with more education and a higher income were shown to age slower, while those with less resources had a 20% greater chance of age-related illnesses. Vaccines for chickens could help limit the spread of bird flu, which is responsible for the high cost of eggs and the slaughter of millions of chickens. The Associated Press reports chicken meat producers are resistant to using vaccines over concerns it could hurt sales or make it harder to detect bird flu. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is spending $100 million to study bird flu vaccines. And when it comes to performing CPR, every second counts. A study by the European Society of Cardiology found how quickly CPR is started is more important than whether it's performed by a bystander or a healthcare professional. Now, every 5 minutes of delay before CPR starts increases the risk of death by 38%. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, the success of local sports teams can have a big impact on their communities. We'll see how the recent success from Pitt State Athletics is affecting the city.
Damn, we've got a warm and windy day again today, and we have red flag warnings and now wind advisories in place. Go over that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, the Miami City Council held a special meeting to address flooding concerns.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:31. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's Monday. It's St. Patrick's Day in the 4 states. So, of course, if you're celebrating, do so responsibly. Just because somebody isn't wearing green does not give you the window to assault them.
No, unfortunately, it doesn't mean that.
No, it doesn't. I don't count.
But you didn't know that it was St. Patrick's Day.
I really honestly didn't.
Here, so you are, you do qualify for a pinch.
Well, yeah, okay. I'll let the wife do that.
Okay, yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, if you're out there, do again celebrate responsibly, of course, because it's Monday. I mean, we're just starting the week, so you want to make sure you celebrate responsibly this evening. Yes. A great day to be out. You've just got to be extra cautious with those celebrations as well, with the gusty winds out there this afternoon. Let's take a live look downtown Pittsburgh. Skies are clear, and they will remain that way through the day. Winds will continue to increase out there as well. Mood camera 20th in range line, also looking pretty good. Got a lot of folks waking up, starting their day out here, waiting for that light to eventually change green for them. And we have the red flag warnings across the entire area through at least 10 o'clock tonight. As we've talked about all morning long, we've seen the impact of wildfires in our own area, and we've seen off to our southwest how significant they can be. They evacuated parts of Norman on Friday. There were folks in Norman who lost their homes to wildfires. So please, you're not just taking care of yourself, you're taking care of your neighbors as well. And then new this morning, we have now wind advisories for parts of northeastern Oklahoma. These will officially kick in at 9 a.m. They only run through 2 this afternoon, but just a heads up, we do have some wind advisories out there as well. It's going to be windy across the entire area today. Those southwest winds will be gusting anywhere from 40 to 45 miles an hour. Our temperature is soaring well above average as we head into the afternoon. We'll start to go into into the upper 70s out there. And keep in mind, our average high should be about 60. Sitting at 46 in Joplin right now, 42 in Pittsburgh, and across the area. It's a bit of a chilly start, again, ahead of a very warm day. We've got some upper 30s, still some low 30s out there in some locations, but most of us upper 30s and low to mid 40s. Our highs today, again, mid-upper 70s as we head into the afternoon hours. Sunny skies, and a reminder of southwest winds gusting 40, 45 miles an hour. It'll be even windier tomorrow into Wednesday. We'll go over those details, plus some rain chances that are on the way here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. Well, the city of Miami, Oklahoma got a virtual visit Friday morning from Oklahoma U.S. Senator Mark Wayne Mullen. The Miami City Council held a special meeting to discuss potential opportunities for the senator and his office to assist the city with ongoing flooding issues. Now, the meeting follows years of flooding in Miami, an issue the city attributes to the Grand River Dam Authority and the Pensacola project. Now, the senator's office heard concerns from the city council and discussed the next steps to resolve the flooding issues in Miami.
That's why I think it's important for us to sit down in the room and everybody put their cards on the table and let's just figure this out. It's important for the people. You know, the people I serve are the same people that Senator Mullen serves. And then GRDA serves those same people power. So those people are the important piece here.
The city of Miami is also in a civil lawsuit along with 456 local property owners seeking compensation from the GRDA. Well, when large gatherings take place on campus, safety is a top priority. The Pittsburgh State University Police Department plays a crucial role in making sure events run smoothly, now from traffic control to crowd management and emergency response. During the NCAA tournament, PSU police ramped up their preparations to keep everything under control.
We prepare all the time, especially in the summertime when students are gone and things are slower around here. So we'll prepare by training with off-campus partners, with ourselves. We train in-house.
Chief Hyde also said that they kept a close eye on the weather as well. Well, the Pitt State Gorillas had a big tournament over the weekend. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more on how this impacted the city of Pittsburgh.
The NCAA tournament is bringing some extra traffic to the city of Pittsburgh. I spoke to a local business owner about what this means for the local economy.
Customers are happy, they're going to tip more, my employees are going to be happy.
Heather Horton, the co-owner of Toast in Pittsburgh, is gearing up for the influx of customers.
Schedule extra people just to be safe. We try to make extra of everything just so we don't run out.
Athletes, families, and other people from out of town will be visiting Pittsburgh for the NCAA tournament, and she's looking forward to seeing the new faces in town.
The fact that we get a little piece of that is amazing for a small business to have that little boost in the week, especially right now it's a little bit slower time.
Horton says with many students leaving Pittsburgh for spring break, local businesses often experience a slowdown, but visitors for the tournament will keep them bustling.
With spring break coming, you just never know if people are traveling or not, so it's good to know that we will have a busy weekend.
Spring break is usually a little bit slower for our area. We do have people traveling, but it's usually not for they're not here for several days. However, when events like this, like the women's basketball tournament, does coincide with spring break.
According to Explore Crawford County, Pittsburgh hotels reach more than 100,000 overnight stays a year. And big events like the NCAA tournament can contribute to that number.
It fills up those rooms that normally probably would not have been booked up.
And as for Horton, she's looking forward to cheering on the Gorillas.
It's just good all around.
She says she looks forward to whenever games like these come to town because it's a huge boost to the local economy. Reporting in Pittsburgh, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Well, the Pitt State women's team advanced to the Sweet 16 with a win over Minnesota State Mankato. Gorilla women play tonight against Southwest Minnesota State. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. We'll have the latest from Washington, D.C. as Trump tariffs wars continue. Plus, other strong winds continue putting much of the area in red flag warnings. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. And Consumer Watch this morning. Well, trade wars are still brewing in a global tit for tat. Now, Thursday, President Donald Trump threatened to put a massive 200% tariff on alcohol from the European Union. Sherelle Hubbard has the latest on the financial fight.
I'm not going to bend at all.
President Donald Trump resolute. He says he's not bending on steel and aluminum tariffs, but car repair shops say you may have to.
The main concern is seeing what the domino effect is going to be on the overall cost of price of parts.
America's spirit industry also bracing for pain from the retaliatory tariffs. Trump said he could impose a 200% tariff on alcoholic beverages from the European Union after the EU imposed a 50% tariff on U.S. spirits like bourbon. In Canada, several retailers have taken U.S.-made beer, wine, and spirits off their shelves.
This is a dumb trade war. It is utterly absurd, and we don't really understand why you would pick a fight with your best friend who has only ever been a really good partner to you.
U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick met with Ontario Premier Doug Ford and other Canadian officials Thursday evening. Just last week, Ford said his province was implementing a 25% tariff on electricity exports to 3 U.S. states and threatened to cut off Ontario energy exports to the U.S. After today's meeting, he said the temperature is being lowered and they agreed to more meetings.
We want the best outcome for both countries. We're like a family. And sometimes there's tension between families.
I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
U.S. companies are adjusting their financial projections due to the Trump administration's tariffs on imports. And a new survey from sports betting media company Action Network shows that March Madness could clash with the workplace this year. Around 40% of fans admitted they've called out sick to watch the games. Now, Action Network also says fans spend around 2.4 hours per day checking scores, which it says amounts to more than $20 billion in lost productivity. Well, action comedy Novocaine debuted atop the weekend box office, pulling in close to $9 million domestically. Sci-fi flick Mickey 17 fell to the number 2 spot in its second week with roughly $7.5 billion. And spy thriller Black Bag also debuted with around $7.5 million. And multiple retailers are sharing the luck with some sweet deals this St. Patrick's Day. 7-Eleven is offering $17 off of $30 delivery orders through its app. Krispy Kreme is giving customers who wear green a free original glazed donut dyed green to mark the occasion. Donut lovers could also be randomly selected to win a pot of gold pass for a free dozen of original donuts every month for a year. Panera Bread is offering its own pot of gold deal to guests who enter sweepstakes for free mac and cheese for a year. The chain's mac and cheese bread bowl is also going green at some locations nationwide with $2 off for rewards members. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Always some very unique promotions that go along with the different holidays, and certainly some interesting ones there. We have a very nice day for us, except for the wind, and that's going to be our problem. But we got clear skies downtown Pittsburgh. We also have clear skies from the MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line in Joplin. Looking good so far, but we do have those red flag warnings for the entire region through at least 10 o'clock tonight. Of course, again, no outdoor burn. We've been talking about it all morning long. We really got to drill it home because we had at least 2 decent fires, one of which led to the destruction of the nursing home in Yates Center. And then down off to our south and west, evacuations in Norman from fires, fire warnings throughout central Oklahoma on Friday. So please, just no outdoor burning, no discarding flammable things out of your car. Just make sure you're not dragging anything either, as sparks could very easily start a fire today. We also have wind advisories now for parts of northeast Oklahoma. They'll go into effect at 9 a.m. and they only run until 2 o'clock today, but just a heads up that we do have those wind advisories in place. Our southwest winds will be gusting upwards of 40 to 45 miles an hour today. Our average high is about 60. We're going to be well above that, courtesy those southwest winds bringing in considerably warmer air as we head through the afternoon and into the evening hours, and eventually a few clouds here and there overnight ahead of more clouds as we head into our Tuesday. A bit of a chilly start out there, though. We're sitting at 46 in Joplin and 42 up in Pittsburgh rather. And around the region, we do have some pretty cold temperatures out there. We've had some low 30s, you can see across parts of northeastern Oklahoma, Grove, Jay, Miami, into the low 30s. Same with Anderson, but most of us are into the upper 30s and low to mid 40s. So again, chilly, but not that bad. And for most of us, again, pretty close to normal. We're expecting, again, highs mid upper 70s out there, clear skies, and of course those gusty southwest winds pushing 40-45 miles an hour. We're having a complete look at your forecast, talk about some rain chances on the horizon here in just a moment. We're also going to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. Those are coming up after the break. But first, here's what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Tony DeCopo. Monday on CBS Mornings, the latest edition of Big News America. David dips deep down into his Dear David mailbag and shares 3 feel-good stories sent in by you, dear viewers, that are sure to leave you inspired. That's Monday on CBS Mornings.
Time for some Monday birthdays in the 4 states, starting with Nora Bell, celebrating birthday number 9. Says happy birthday for Mom, Dad, and Colin.
And in Nevada, a happy 13th birthday to Tayton Pike.
And in Joplin, Jennifer Jolene celebrating birthday number 36 today. Happy birthday, Jennifer.
And a happy 52nd birthday to Alicia Norris in Pittsburgh.
And just to the east in Lamar, Gary Blackard celebrating birthday number 65 today. Happy birthday.
And a happy 71st birthday to Rick Parmalee in Columbus.
And in Arma, Joyce Bates also celebrating birthday number 71. Says with love always, Frank and Judy.
And a happy birthday to Sharon Bartley, who's in the middle there over in Wyandotte. Says we love you so much from Mom and Dad.
And our list continues with Danny Dutton in Joplin celebrating birthday number 63.
And a happy 64th birthday to Betty Morgan in Pittsburgh. It says happy birthday from the Crestline girls.
And speaking of Crestline, Vicki Hodge celebrating another year wiser down in Crestline. Of course, another great list of birthdays and anniversaries, and we do love celebrating with you. And if you'd like to celebrate with us, Elise has some information for you.
Yes, go ahead and submit your birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Sure to include those wonderful photos and messages to meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen, and to also include the date of your celebration when submitting as well.
Certainly important information, and some important information for you folks at home. First, we do have now wind advisories for parts of northeast Oklahoma. They'll go in effect at 9 a.m. and they only run through 2. Now, that doesn't mean the wind suddenly stops at 2, but we do have those wind advisories in place out there. More importantly, though, we do have red flag warnings across the entire area through at the latest 10 o'clock tonight. I know we've said it 100 times, but really you got to drill home how serious it is and how important it is to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and your neighbors by not doing any outdoor burning. You're cautious, you're not discarding cigarettes or anything else out of your car, and you're making sure that your car or anything else you're doing could not potentially spark and start a fire. Because again, fires over the week, on Friday in northeast Oklahoma, or goodness gracious, in central Oklahoma. There were fire warnings, which is something I've never seen before, and there were also evacuation warnings for Norman. But the thing is, the speed of the fires in some cases was 3 to 5 miles an hour. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot, but if you get in your car and you're trucking along at 5 miles an hour, now imagine a wall of flames trucking right along with you. That's a very fast spread of fire. We do not want to see that across the area, so please be cautious out there. Well, those southwest winds are going to be gusting upwards of 40 to 45 miles an hour. Skies will be clear. Our average high 60. We're going to be nowhere near that, well above it as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. In fact, overnight tonight, our lows may be close to what our average highs should be for this time of year. We'll have a few clouds here and there, still breezy overnight. Winds begin shifting out of the south as we head overnight and into Tuesday. Partly cloudy skies Tuesday. Could see an isolated storm or two. Right now, those chances are pretty low, but it is something we want to monitor across the region. Otherwise, again, just partly cloudy and even windier tomorrow, sticking with those warm temperatures as well, as those winds could gust out of the south upwards of 50 miles an hour. And those 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts will hold with us as we head into Wednesday as well. So you've got to be extra cautious out there, especially when it comes to burning or even driving high-profile vehicles. We will be a little cooler on Wednesday. In fact, you see our temperatures will actually start to fall as we head into the afternoon. And then we'll start to see more clouds and opportunities for some showers. And yes, the future track is showing the possibility of some light snow or some light flurries, but ground temperatures not matching up. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But even if we saw snow, shouldn't add up to much of anything out there other than the fact that it's going to be very windy. We'll have another look at your forecast as well as the news you need to know here in just a moment. And when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to take a deeper look into why we get bored when we have a world of information and entertainment at our fingertips.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Fast-moving winds and dry conditions had fire crews in Carthage working to contain a large grass fire Saturday night. Firefighters say the glow from the fire could be seen from 5 miles away, and winds were reported 15 to 30 miles per hour with gusts up to 43 miles per hour. Flames were said to be 10 to 12 feet high. And many communities in our area felt the impact of storms and high winds Friday. Oklahoma Highway Patrol suspended the transportation of oversized loads after high winds knocked semi-trucks over. Residents in both Miami and Joplin experienced power outages. Liberty Utilities said most of those customers regained power shortly after. And the city of Miami, Oklahoma got a virtual visit Friday morning from Oklahoma U.S. Senator Mark Wayne Mullen. The City Council held a special meeting to discuss potential opportunities for the senator and his office to assist with the city with ongoing flooding issues. The senator's office heard concerns from the City Council and discussed the next steps to resolve the flooding issues in Miami. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And a reminder, red flag warnings across the area through at least 10 o'clock tonight. No outdoor burning. A beautiful day, though. Sunny, warm, mid-upper 70s, but those southwest winds gusting 40, maybe 40 miles an hour. Mild through the evening and overnight. A few clouds here and there. South winds continuing to gust upwards of 30. Tomorrow they increase, and that continues into at least Wednesday with those gusts pushing 50 miles an hour in some cases. Still warm tomorrow. A few showers Wednesday, back to normal Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. More rain chances Friday.
All right, and coming up today at noon, we're making an Irish milkshake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
As your morning news continues on KOM with CBS Mornings, the latest edition of Beg Knows America. David dips into his Dear David mailbag and shares 3 feel-good stories sent by you, the viewers, that are sure to leave you inspired.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Lori Horton is back in the studio showing us her recipe for a traditional Irish apple cake.
Plus, we'll investigate why we get bored. Sometimes it may just be from watching me for too long. It's kind of boring. That's going to wrap it up for now, though. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.